Let's say you're a skald, a bard of the time, and you would go to king's courts and you recite a tale, just like Fahrenheit 451. What tale would you recite? What book would you be?
Chronicles 1. The Winter King, a novel of Arthur by Bernard Cornwell. Part 1. A Child in Winter. Once upon a time, in a land that was called Briton, these things happened. That year, as the Romans used to reckon time, was 1233 years after the founding of their city, though we in Britain usually date our years from the Black Year, which was when the Romans cut down the Druids on Inismon. By that reckoning, Arthur's story begins in the year 420. Though Sansom, may God bless him, numbers our era from the date of our Lord Jesus Christ's birth, which he believes happened 480 winters before these things began. But however you count the years, it was long ago. Once upon a time, in a land called Britain.
Love that. Welcome, my friends. We're going to have a look at the new Winter King TV series. And I'm going to comment. I'm going to give you my first impressions and good morning from the Gettysburg National Battlefield. I'm chilling with the cat, drinking some coffee. It's a rainy, pleasant morning here in Gettysburg. And I was beginning to watch The Winter King, and I thought I would shoot a quick video and give you guys my impressions. And so thanks for coming along. Thanks for joining me. And that was the audio book of The Winter King, The Warlord Chronicles. And it's just come to TV, and I'm freaking excited. The Winter King and the Warlord Chronicles, the Arthur Tales, are one of my favorite book series of all time. I highly recommend it. If you guys had asked me, Warlord, could you recommend 3 books? The Winter King would be one of them. I know the tales inside and out. I highly recommend the audiobooks that we're listening to. The audiobooks are awesome. And I will be playing some more Fireside Tales with the oncoming autumn. Late at night, I'll be playing some audiobooks and chilling and chatting. And so I hope you join me over on Twitch or on YouTube or Facebook live. And so I'll be listening to some audiobooks again for our Fireside Tales. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me, guys. And I hope your day finds you smiling wherever you may be roaming. So let's have a look. Let's have a little peek at some clips from the TV series. And I haven't seen these. I've seen a few minutes of the beginning. And that's when I decided I'd make a video. I mean, literally a few minutes. But I haven't seen the rest of it. So I'm going to go ahead and watch this. And I'll be stopping at certain points. And I will not be airing the entire episode here on my channel. But I'll be showing some clips that I feel are comment worthy. And so thanks for joining me again. Awesome. I'm excited. I'm freaking out. There's so much. I'm so excited. I'm so happy at the fact that so much media and movies and film and TV shows have been made in my lifetime of the books that just fascinate me, that I have so much passion. These authors, the authors are the heroes, the actors are not. And in case you didn't know, Bernard Cornwell is my favorite author. I love Bernard Cornwell. I'd love to party with that dude. I love it already. Look at this. The artwork is awesome. The font's great. Look at this. Look at the setup. Tensions simmer between pagans and Christians to this day. High King Uther Pendragon struggles to unite the tribes. to take on the greatest threat of all, the Saxons.
The Saxons are regrouping. We need to go. We need to take him home to your father. Now, Arthur. Come on!
And in case I didn't mention before, there will be spoilers. And I know the book's inside now.
We need to retreat.
And I'll be comparing and contrasting what we're seeing. The costuming, already the costuming, right on. No bullshit with the hairstyles. The helmet, right on. Look at the fur. I've reenacted many years in a few different time periods. And it's something that if you're a reenactor, you guys know, or you're a texture artist, looking at these costumes down to every last stitch, right on, man. This looks like a battlefield. I studied 3rd through 6th century history in Chicago almost 40 years ago. Nice, I like it. I like it already, awesome. So we'll have a peek, and again, we're not going to watch the whole episode. Based on Bernard Cornwell's The Winter King. Looks realistic, man. Welcome to the time machine. And in my opinion, this is the best telling of the Arthur tales that I've ever read. Better than Mallory. I've been reading Arthur tales since I was 5 years old. I've read every Arthur tale you can shake a stick at. Cornwell is the best. And personally, I would say jump right to the audiobooks. Tune into my Twitch channel. I'll be playing some audiobooks. Caer Cadarn. Fire up that copy of Briton Walda. If you guys have been tuning into my Winter King campaign playthrough, my heavily modded version of Briton Walda, thanks for joining me. Awesome. Look at this. Look at the fort. The wood. Look at this. Let's go see this place. Let's go see where it is. Where they put these sets up. Look at the armor. The helmet right on. Look at this place. I wonder where it was filmed. And I'll tell you what. I can't speak for everybody else in my generation, but I am glad that I cannot tell the difference most of the time between really good CGI and reality. To me, it looks real. The sky just fell. Yeah, the sky just fell. So, here's Uther. Here's King Uther. The sky just fell. The Winter King is the beginning of the book, and it is Mordred's birth. That's how the whole book begins. That's what we were listening to just a few minutes ago. So the Winter King is Mordred. He was born in the winter. The book series, the trilogy, the first two books is pretty much Mordred being a little bastard growing up. And Arthur is kind of his chaperone, raising him. That Mordred already grew up, and we've kind of jumped ahead. Well, then it's just a totally different story. So right from the get-go, within the first 5 minutes of the TV series, it's absolutely not kosher with the books. There's your spoiler. I'm sure I know I'm going to enjoy this. I know I am. For example, I have a love-hate relationship that people have been familiar with for the last 10 years on my social networks with the Vikings TV series, where it's a fabulous TV series. It really is. But it's historical goat poop. Yeah. But I love the series. It's a great series. This may be completely, and there's dead Mordred, and there's Uther, and Arthur. And I mean, the book's very different. Arthur in the books is the shining hero that we know and love. throughout our lives, each and every one of us. If you've ever even scratched the surface of the Arthurian tales, that's the Arthur that we see in Cornwell's books. You know, but this is very different. I'm not saying I'm not going to enjoy it, because I think I am. Because the costuming is right on, the acting is fabulous. Uther right here is just super awesome. The acting is top notch, and Uther, I've seen him before in films. Most of these other guys I haven't seen. Owain is a major player in the books, but I wouldn't by any means say that in the books. Spoiler, Gawain is Arthur's buddy. They fight side by side a lot, but things become shifty, I think, towards the end of the second book. And so right here, like I said, the sky fell out, Mordred's dead, when this should be Mordred's birth. He is the Winter King. Yeah. So
Spread the word. Damnonia, the kingdom of kingdoms, has a new heir. Prince Mordred.
go ahead and finish this episode. Now comment on some scenes that I think are profound and significant contrast, good or bad. Good or bad. We'll see what happens. And I know I'm going to watch this whole series. Fahrenheit 451. What's the matter with you, Warlord? Don't you like music? So Fahrenheit 451 is one of my favorite books of all time, and I love the 60s film where everybody learns to be a book. If you were a book and you were in Fahrenheit 451, okay, you were in The Winter King 451, what book would you be? What book would you recite? Let's say you're a skald, a bard of the time, and you would go to king's courts and you recite a tale, just like Fahrenheit 451. What tale would you recite? What book would you be? So it's a great tale. I implore you, read the books, or better yet, listen to the audio books, or tune into my live streams or my YouTube channel to hear the tales, my friends. I'm smiling. I am going to enjoy it, even though it's not the books. And here we have, you're never going to guess. And this is a major, major, major shift, a major change, a huge, huge, huge change from the books. Okay. The Merlin character that you will hear in the audiobooks is one of the best characters that I have ever listened to in audio literature my whole life. The Merlin character is just phenomenal in the books. He's unbelievable. You guys will just absolutely be magnetized to that character in the books, Merlin. He's unlike any Merlin you've ever pictured.
From Damnonia and all of Britain. And be warned the fool who gives him aid or shelter. You have lost one son today. The gods will not see you lose another.
The gods? Merlin? Or you?
Let me bear Mordred to Avalon. There he will be nearer to the gods when I convey him to their care.
So I have to stop and comment right there on a couple of pretty big things. One, Avalon. There's no Avalon in the books at all. So yeah, this is going to be chock full of spoilers. There's absolutely, this scene never happened. This scene with all the lords of what later becomes Wales. Okay, all these kingdoms that you warband players are so familiar with. Powys, Dumnonia, etc. This scene never happened. Throughout the books, throughout all three books, Arthur and other lords, they're all trying to unite. That's one of the great struggles of the book, but that spreads the course of all three books. It doesn't start out with all the lords here uniting in his court. Now, Merlin, okay? I know there's probably a bunch of screaming roosters out there saying that's not fucking Merlin. Okay, but that doesn't mean he's not fucking cool, because he is. Look at him. He's a super cool Merlin. Are you shitting me? Look at this. We got this bald black dude with these badass robes. I mean, he's like super cool, different, totally unique Merlin that's never been done. I love it. He looks like Cuba Gooding Jr. I'm not sure if that's... He looks a lot like Cuba Gooding Jr. However, I don't know this Merlin yet. Okay, I think he's going to be fucking awesome. Look at him. Shit, man, I want his clothes, right? Look at it. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to be an awesome Merlin, but the Merlin in the books outshines any Merlin ever done. Any Merlin, even from Excalibur, 1980. Yeah, the Merlin in the books is the best Merlin ever made, period. I think it was Ralph Fiennes, who was in the Camelot TV series that was also made by Michael Hirsch, who made The Tudors, and he made Vikings. And man, I wish that series would not have been canceled. Michael Hirsch made a phenomenal Arthur series that a lot of you have probably seen, Camelot, years ago, probably 20 years ago. And Ralph Fiennes, I think it was Ralph Fiennes or Joseph Fiennes, was Merlin in that TV program. It did 2 seasons. Eve Green was in it. The only one gripe I had with that TV program was I thought that the Arthur character was a wimp. He was like this wimpy, skinny, kind of shy, not very heroic or courageous. He was kind of becoming a man. He was coming into his own, and I think that was part of the tale. But the scenery and the cinematography and the acting and the very hot Claire Forlani, okay, plays Igraine, and all the actors and actresses and the armor and everything, and it was just super. It was such a great series. It's unfortunate it got canceled after two seasons, and then Hirsch went on to make Tudors and then Vikings. But that was one of the best Arthurian TV series, in my opinion, was Camelot. And the Merlin, what I was getting at was the Merlin played by, I think it was Ralph Fiennes or Joseph Fiennes, was excellent. That Merlin portrayal was super. And so I'm hoping that this Merlin portrayal is going to be something as different as freaking Doctor Who. You never know what Doctor you're going to see, you know what I mean? And so I'm excited. But I do have to say that the best Merlin ever freaking written is from this book series, from the book series. And if you listen to the audiobook, you're going to hear that character come to life. And so I just had to comment my thoughts on Merlin. Awesome, awesome. Let's continue. And I hope you guys are all having an excellent day. Look at the scenery. Where's this fortress? Let's go. To the fires of May Dun. The Saxon cometh.
Hold on, I'm coming. Stay still, stay still.
So I'm assuming that this is Derfel. So I'll assume that is Derfel Cadarn, later Saint Derfel, later Lord Derfel. And again, this is in stark contrast to the books. Derfel, let me refresh my memory. Derfel was being sacrificed. He was a Saxon. He was going to be thrown into like a pit of fire, and Merlin rescues him. And then Merlin raises him. I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves me correctly, that's what happens. He is a Saxon, and he's actually the son of King Aella, one of the Saxon kings. And he's going to be sacrificed by the Britons. And Merlin saves him from the pit, the sacrificial pit of fire. I think I'm pretty right on there. Pretty close. Yeah, and so here in the TV show, Arthur is saving, I'm assuming, Derfel. We'll see in a moment. So I see here in the TV series that they have replaced the Tor, the Glastonbury Tor, with Avalon. okay? Because Merlin in the books resides with Nimue, who's completely off her rocker with Nimue. So I'm interested to see how her character is portrayed in contrast to the books. And so this is really in real life, in reality, the Tor was always considered where Merlin lives. So I suppose that they must have replaced the name, the Tor, Glastonbury Tor, everybody knows the Tor, with Avalon. Who knows what they called it back then? Did you see the Arthurian tale with Jude Law and Charlie Hunnam? I thought that was fabulous. And now the way they had portrayed the Tor in that film, and I think it was a Guy Ritchie film, I could be wrong. I like the way they portrayed the Tor in that movie. And now here's another black warrior. And in the books, Arthur has a fighting companion who is a warrior from Africa, and they are both involved in the religion of Mithras. It's kind of a cult of warriors, a warrior cult. Mithras, and Arthur and this other warrior, and later Derfel becomes a member of Mithras. I think I have that right. So the Tor, Avalon. And I told you guys not to watch this ridiculous video. You were warned. Morgan Le Fay. I'm interested to see how she's going to be portrayed.
Merlin is waiting. There are preparations for tonight.
Now in the book, she becomes heavily scarred and she wears a mask
My lady?
covering part of her face in
for
most
the
of the
festival.
books. And she becomes a Christian.
There are other girls in Avalon, Babel. Girls who can be truly yours.
She becomes a big crusader for Christianity. Very different in the books than what most of us, I think, are accustomed to, and we read about or see media regarding Morgan Le Fay. So here we do witness the birth of a child, but I'm curious who it is. Perhaps the prince wasn't Mordred, but I believe they called him Mordred at the beginning of the show. We'll see.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
The fires, Derfel. Help them set the fires.
Now what she did there does work in the books, where they bring in witchcraft, sorcery, ancient pagan magic, just like banana splits. And so yeah, they do get rid of the Christians during the birth at the beginning of the book and bring in pagan ways to save the child. Now this is at the beginning of the book, but I'm at a loss for who is being born. Must be Mordred and what's to come. So this would be the beginning of the book. Actually, Derfel's telling the tale to all of us under the watchful eye of Igraine and Bishop Samsa. And then this happens, a birth, but this is very strange that the order that they put this in, and I'm not sure who was just born, but this is kind of how the book series does start. I thought it was strange with the death of a prince and Arthur is a bastard.
Yes, grab some logs.
That was out of the ordinary.
What are you doing?
Not saying it's bad or good, I like what I say.
Caer Cadarn lights his fires.
It's just
Briton takes
different.
heed.
It's different than the books, and I am partial to the books most often, as I'm sure most of you are. So
on.
we'll find out about this birth. Look at that fortress. That's awesome.
There is evil in him. It will grow and fester with every passing year. He will bring death and ruin to the kingdom, and the Saxon will take the Isle.
Now this is very different, where the story's pitting Arthur against Mordred as they're both rivals for the throne of Domnonia. It's very different. In the books, I believe, and I haven't read them in a while, but I do recall, Mordred becomes the charge of Arthur. Arthur is tasked with raising him, etc., etc. So they reside in the same location, and Arthur's raising Mordred, I believe. But here is similar to tales that we've seen in the past. Excalibur 1980 comes to mind, where Merlin is now Balin and going to get Arthur to the throne. And that kind of harkens back to films that we saw almost half a century ago. The acting is phenomenal. I think the series is great. I love the costuming. There's a familiar face. There's a familiar face. A lot of familiar faces. And so I like the series. It's different.
Prince Mordred.
Merlin, what did you...
So be it. Someone must bring Arthur home.
So here's the rivalry. Wait till Lancelot comes into the picture.
Spread the word. Domnonia, the kingdom of kingdoms, has a new heir. Prince Mordred.
Utter ruin. A land enslaved by a tyrant. I saw the death of Briton.
Here we have it.
That child will do the Saxons' bidding. Only Arthur can stop him. I should have brought him home sooner.
Why? Why, Arthur?
He is of the blood. A true Pendragon, he alone has the vision, the authority to bind the tribes and vanquish our foes. He must take my place in the way. Protect the pagan, thwart the Christian, and defend Avalon at all costs. We will speak to and for the gods, be their vessel and their voice. But the price of this power is your solitude. Remember that.
There they are.
Rules about who can and can't comment.
My pals. Master All in the Game and Brett. Live on Warlord TV. So much to say in so little time, I thought I would share what was on my mind. And so thanks for joining me for this sneak peek, first look, Warlord's first impressions of this series that I've really been looking forward to, and I think I'm really going to like it. Look at the cinematography, it's fabulous. The costumes are excellent. The story is totally different. It's totally different. It's got some elements, obviously, that are similar. There's stuff from the books in here, but it's very different than the books, and I highly recommend the books. I'm not going to say one's better than the other yet, but of course, I love The Winter King. I love the trilogy, and I highly recommend it. And so, yeah, I'm digging this. And so thanks for tuning in to hear what I had to say and see what I had to share. And so I'm looking forward to more of this series. Assessment, difference, to be expected, of course, but I think I'm going to enjoy both. Look at the guy with the mohawk. Come on, man, this guy's good luck already. So here in the kingdom of King Ban, there's going to be a phenomenal siege. Super. And so again, my friends, thanks for joining me. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the Winter King, and I'll be sharing some of the audio on my live channel late at night. I've been doing midnight tales for years on different networks, chatting, sharing some great audio. And so right on, Lord Derfel will come into his own. Major difference is it's pitting Arthur versus Modred, and yeah, that is an element in the Cornwall tales, but again, I think I've said it enough like a broken record. It's different to be expected. And I'm excited. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing already. And so I think that's all I have to say about that. Stay tuned for more, guys. If something like this comes up, I'll shoot a video. I want to share my thoughts, what I think about it, especially a book series that I love so much as this trilogy. Warlord over and out. You guys have an awesome rest of your day. It's about noon. It's lunchtime here on the battlefield. The dew point's really high, so it's crazy wet outside. It's sunny and humid. Please be safe wherever you may roam. Thanks for tuning in, my friends. I'll see y'all real soon.